Abraham and Sarah's choice to skirt around the truth to save themselves was much the same. It's just a part of how they survived. But regardless of what it was, they were still sinning through omission. That sin had made a home in their lives as they traveled. It was a part of their routine. Yes, what these rulers were doing was also wrong, as they were taking a woman by force. But Sarah and Abraham still aren't in the clear. They were in self-reliance mode, an effort to preserve themselves, and that caused them to veer into very dangerous territory. Strengthening our faith for the future God has to offer means learning to trust in God's methods rather than our own. We'll still stumble and we'll falter, like these two did, but we can take heart and have hope. Our last point reminds us that there is mercy in their mess. There's a theme of unfaithfulness in the way that Abraham and Sarah had been responding to crises. They were trying to provide solutions themselves, and in doing so, they messed things up for others. However, an even more important theme can also be found in both of these accounts. Something was happening in both situations, even when they looked hopeless. God Himself was stepping into the picture as well as the situation. In those moments when it seemed like promises were unlikely to ever be fulfilled, in that despair and uncertainty, God reminded Abraham and Sarah just who they were dealing with. They weren't dealing with a mortal ruler of lands. They were dealing with the creator of those lands, as well as the ruler of the universe himself. God moved through the miraculous and ensured Abraham and Sarah were directed back towards His plans. These stories aren't just cautionary tales about our own slip-ups. They're a reminder that first and foremost, God provides when He promises. God had made promises to Abraham, and He intended to keep them. Even when we are unfaithful, God is faithful. Can you take a moment and thank Him for that this morning? When we are caught up in the what ifs and what do we do's, God still has control. He is able to guide us back to the path that He's been laying out for us if we allow Him to. That's what He does here with Abraham and Sarah. God was looking toward the future, even in those moments of doubt and uncertainty when Abraham and Sarah weren't. God didn't strike them down for their insecurity or even for their disobedience. He gave them grace, undeserved favor and mercy as He made those accounts opportunities to learn more about who He is and what He does. Hebrews 4:16 says, "Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need." Part of growing in our faith for the future is knowing God will see us through our failures. He gives us grace and an opportunity to turn things around. But for that to happen, we need to let Him nudge us back in the right direction.